Hey y'all, Contessa here with your daily dose of nonsense on the web. And if you're asking, Contessa, what are you up to today? Well, we are going to go through Unirock's conversation with MollyGoLightly, Justin of Justice for All, and Goose. This conversation took place on September 2nd, 2022. You can see the full stream on both RockAlot's channel, which I will, of course, link in the description, and or MollyGoLightly's channel. They both dual streamed the live. We are going to take a perspective from Unirock's channel because everybody else keeps clipping Molly's. So I'm going to watch it from Unirock's. If you want to see the full perspective for Molly's, go over to her channel. It's there. I just don't need to see their faces or their facial expressions because I've seen them for days on end over and over again. And I could probably tell you what facial expression they're going to make before they even make it. And just for full transparency reasons, I need to mention that I have never had a one-on-one conversation with Unirock at all. I have spoke to his admin a couple times and sent him a couple screenshots, and that's it. He has promoted my channel and used content from me, and I appreciate that so much. So let me be very clear because I don't want anybody to come into this thinking that I'm just going to attack everybody in this because that's not it. I'm going to once again point out the truths and the facts of things that matter in the Marvon McRae story. Things that have put us in, sadly, the situation we are in today, when there is more misinformation out on the internet that is being passed around than there is factual. And this is Marvon's story. This was supposed to be about Marvon. Yet Marvon has now been overshadowed by all this other fuckery. There is a lot that took place during this conversation that I really don't have opinions on and or knowledge of. So there is a lot in this conversation that I will just be kind of going through and over because it doesn't involve me, nor does it involve the Marvon McRae story. Unfortunately, there's a lot of this conversation that doesn't involve the Marvon McRae story. And just to address the questions that I've gotten, would you have a conversation with Molly and Justin? Yes, I eventually would, but I would have a list of questions ready and expect answers to those questions. I wouldn't go into it just willy-nilly without a list of this is what we are going to be talking about. So they're aware beforehand, and this is what we will be addressing. There will be none of the side topic stuff. These are the points that we will be talking about and only the points that we will be talking about. Otherwise, there's no use in this conversation. That's how I kind of handle stuff. But then again, I'm not interested in a conversation with them at this point. They have done and said a lot and continue to let them. And as always, this is opinion based. This is solely my opinion and my opinion only based off of hours and hours and hours and hours of footage that we have reviewed and seen that these creators have put out themselves publicly. And of course, this falls under the fair use guidelines. Again, just to mention, the stream is from September 2nd. You can watch the full stream on both of their channels, RockAlot and or MollyGoLightly. Let's sniff our way through the situation. No, I'm not saying anyone smells in this situation. I'm saying the situation itself smells. But there was some comments made, so I just played on words.
Can you hear me? Flava says the others need to come off panel. It needs to be you two, but I don't know if she's gonna do
Oh
that.
no, I don't mind talking to Justin too.
Okay.
You'll have to unmute your
She put it
mic.
on members only. I wonder why.
Couple things I need to mention right off the bat. I agree with Navy. Navy was right on the money about the members chat being switched. That was very obvious and intentional. And secondly, I wouldn't have gone in a 3-on-1 conversation either, because then you're kind of always being the last one to get a word in. And especially when all of the comments, every single one, is against you going in. You are having no unbiased conversation whatsoever.
Hey, hello. I'm Unirock. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Nice to meet you. I'm MollyGoLightly.
I'm
Oh,
Justin.
excellent. Hello, Justin. Hello, Molly. So I'm sure there's been a lot of miscommunication back and forth. I don't hate either of you. I don't have any angst towards you, and I hope you don't have any towards me. But there is some issues to talk about, I'd say, if you want to handle them. It's up to you.
I should mention also that I know what Unirock has explained to some of his answers here in some of his conversation already. I have not had the opportunity to watch it. I haven't heard what he said was his reasons for things and or what his explanations were. I haven't had time and I don't know if I will have time. So I'm just reacting to the conversation. Right here, in my opinion, the conversation was over. When he went into the conversation and was trying to basically level the playing field by saying, look, I don't have anything against you, he should have stuck with, okay, we need a conversation to take place because of this, this, and this. Nothing to do with anything personal. Personal matters instantly got involved right there. It became about what one creator thinks of another creator personally, not about the story or the subject at hand, if that makes sense to anybody. Kind of unintentionally misplaced the focus in this conversation.
So, why would you call me? Someone just sent me a clip of you saying like I was having sex with dead people.
Oh, did they? Because that's not what I said. I said it's weird to, and I feel that way, that it's strange to edit a minor dead body in a car and make attempts to see the minor dead body. I do think it's creepy. So
I don't know what comments Uni made about Justin in this instant, but I will give my opinion on this. It is highly disrespectful to Kylie's family, to her family, to do that for any type of content. I understand that you're in the true crime community and this doesn't bother you because you've seen horrific shit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that haven't. And there are true crime victims, such as Kylie's family, that are going through a lot. And unfortunately, YouTube is playing havoc in that also in ways. Not with all of this, but it's just disrespectful to the family. But once that was introduced in this conversation, this was never about getting to the bottom of this story or what is happening with refunds. The playing field has been thrown completely off already. And we're what, 5 minutes into this conversation that we've been having, I think? Maybe not even.
It's
no
not.
hate.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not like you could. It was an outline of the body.
I know. I don't have an issue with you. I just want to be honest with you so that you know that. I would have that opinion if it was you or anyone else. So,
Again, unfortunately, he says, I don't have anything against you. I would feel this way whether it was you or someone else. I understand what he's trying to communicate here is it's wrong no matter who you are. But what, again, they're hearing is, haha, we got him right where we want him because now we've got him on a personal level. We've got this conversation with a personal undertone. So it doesn't matter about facts. We're going to just continue to push things on a personal level.
I wouldn't do it. I know that much. So she's 16,
I'm aware.
She's dead.
I'm aware.
Pretty disrespectful to someone that's passed, in my opinion. Now, we all make mistakes or something, or we don't think about things, so who knows? But
the tone of the conversation has already shifted.
The major issue, though, is Letitia, I think, because people tried to get refunds, and of course they were blocked, and that was the thing people were most upset about. So, is there any information on why they didn't get refunds? I mean, if she has a good reason, I'm sure people will let it go. But I mean, I think that you said that there is a reason, and Letitia didn't want to say it. So, I can understand maybe Letitia not wanting to say why, but do you think it's a good reason that she doesn't want to show proof or give refunds?
Absolutely, because of refunds.
And at least we're finally on topic in the conversation. And of course, we all know that there is no proof that refunds happened. Not a single person has been able to come forward and say, hey, I got my refund, except for those who have gotten refunds through GoFundMe. That's a totally different process. Anybody else off a different payment app, not a single soul has been able to come forward and say that they've got a refund. So as far as her issuing refunds, they've never shown any proof that refunds happened. And nobody has proof to show that they've been refunded. Not a single person.
Would be because your friend Katie Joy told everybody that they were being scammed, right?
I don't like Katie. We don't get along.
Once again, the focus of the conversation is lost because it now becomes a personal matter with Katie. There are issues with Katie, which he should have just answered the question. But let's get into that Katie accusation. Maybe he's not aware that Katie wasn't the first to ask her for a refund, but she definitely was not. That was happening. But here's more proof of that. This is just a tiny clip from their stream last
People
night.
want to try to say Letitia is a scammer, so I'm sorry, but you guys are going to see who the real scammers are because Letitia didn't scam anybody. So, yeah,
Not a soul. Not a soul.
And Justin,
Rightly
you
so.
weren't here earlier, but I confirmed with Letitia. I asked her if anybody had requested a refund prior to KJ, and nobody had. She was the first person to do it. Nobody
Yes,
had even questioned her about things.
yes.
I mean,
She influenced people
she
to,
instigated it all.
yes, 1000%.
If you haven't seen these screenshots, go ahead and pause to read. They're also on Facebook, but it proves that Katie was not the first to ask for a refund. She just was not.
Are you not being given money by Katie Joy? Is she a
Well,
wrench?
no,
Doesn't she have a wrench on your channel?
no, she used to. She hasn't had a wrench in a long time. Katie
I have personally been in Unirock's channel at the same time that Katie from Without a Crystal Ball has came in, and I didn't see a wrench next to her name. However, I'm not there very often at all.
and I have an entire series of a playlist documenting my experience with Katie.
I know it's
And
been up and down with you too.
well, it's been down for over a year, but see, me and Katie, I don't know, you probably don't know this. So she got exposed for doxing Creepshow Art like a long time ago. She doxed Creepshow Art in my Discord server while she was attempting to be friends with me, right? So I was forced with deciding whether to not tell my audience because she was like implying that I shouldn't tell my audience when I was getting ready to go live and blast her for it. And so I had to go live and record my Discord server because she lied on me and then said she didn't dox Creepshow Art in my Discord server. And then I had to send the proof to Creepshow because I figured she'd want to sue or something. She didn't though. And yeah, it was a messed up situation. I don't do that. I wasn't communicating with Katie in the beginning because I liked her or because I wanted to boost her or something. She was bigger than me at the time. I was communicating with her because people said she was a doxer, and she told me that she wasn't. And when I told her I was willing to hear her out, she explained for months that she wasn't a doxer. So I wouldn't say I betrayed Katie. I'd say that Katie betrayed me by doxing Creepshow in my server. But yeah, that's what happened with that. So I have a lot of stuff on Katie. You guys would probably want to hear if you ever actually talk to me because I'm not a bad guy like people think I am. But I mean, I don't expect you to. But that's a good subject to start on because Katie is a.
And right here, my mind just went blank because I could give two flying fucks about anything to do with Katie and Uni's past. Sorry, don't care. And that's not disrespect to either one of them. I just don't care. I don't care what anybody did. This was supposed to be about asking questions about the refund situation in the Marvon McRae story. That has not even really been addressed at all, besides one little thing. And secondly, by going there with them right off the bat, whether they have past or not. Like, I'm not saying that they need to like each other or that they're working together. I think Uni was establishing the fact that he doesn't trust what comes from her. That's what he's trying to get across to his audience is that he's doing research and getting information from other sources. And they're so hell bent on establishing that Katie's behind this. So he's trying to establish that he does not have a good relationship with her. That's not where his information is coming from, in my opinion.
She actually tried to pull something crazy with me on you, Molly, which I eventually will tell people about. But I was going to do a video on it after all this calmed down. But sorry, guys.
And yes, I get the mission behind his madness. I get what he's trying to do because what he's trying to establish to them is look, you have my relationship with her wrong. First of all, you assume she's a mod on my channel. She's not. Secondly, we don't have the wonderful, lovely relationship that you assume we do. Because what he's trying to establish is no, this isn't just coming from Katie. There's other people that this information is coming from. This isn't a Katie issue, but they will continue to circle it back to that. And that's why he just includes that to Molly, is sometime I will tell you stories that actually you're involved in because he's trying to establish that there's not a connection with him and Katie. In my opinion, once again, this is all just nonsense, talking nonsense.
Okay, so what happened is YouTube, of course, had this story of Marvon and Dre McRae, and they were looking for YouTubers that would take it, and they were trying to find a lot bigger channels, the likes of Bailey Sarian, and they had their hopes up real high, and they were being ignored for quite a long time. So
So let's just clarify what she said there because some of the stuff she already said wrong. It was a Facebook group reached out to Molly, admins from a Facebook group, not the creator of the Facebook groups, but the admins reached out to Molly and other creators trying to get their attention and on the story. Molly was just one of many that jumped. A lot of people reported about this case numerous times, have covered it multiple times. However, the waters got really muddy really fast and people backed away. But yes, Molly was reached out to by a few women that have personal vendettas against Dre. Those women being Gigi and Tony. and they reached out to many people. There was huge channels covering this case and story. There's been still some interest in it, but those channels are staying out because it's been so muddy, in my opinion.
Two separate people decided to reach out to me within hours. And I looked at it, and I looked at it for a couple of hours. And I knew Justin would be up, and at about 5:30 in the morning, I talked to him for about a half an hour, and I told him what I stumbled upon. So me and him went into this together. And then we found out that this girl without a crystal ball, which I'd heard her name, never saw any of her videos, wanted to talk to us about this. About 150 people told us not to go on, and we, of course, didn't listen. And she decided to call Dre basically a murderer.
That 100% was stated by the creator that she is sane. But that's not how things went down, because they were both sitting right there when that was said, kikiing and on, nothing had happened. And they both have also said very problematic things in the, there has been a lot of shit thrown at the wall to see what can stick, or accusations, or anything that muddies the story up. It has been an absolute shit show. But I will remind you, absolutely remind you again, that this did not start because of Katie. People were asking questions and demanding refunds before Katie really even got deep into the story. The 8th of July, I have proof that Letitia was declining refunds. We have proof that Letitia was telling people that others were asking for refunds, complaining about the donations.
Didn't sit well with me. And there was something about her vibe where she said, send all of your followers to view this on my channel. My source only wants it viewed.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't
heard
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
And so
Well, I saw that you were mad about that. So I know I'm glad you.
But in reality, she wasn't mad about it in the beginning. She willingly sent her followers over there and was telling people in the comments that she was fine. She knew what she was getting into. She 100% willingly sent her followers over there. They were kind of working together. We debunked this.
I think anyone would be.
You know?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So anyway,
Yeah.
I told my crowd that something wasn't feeling good. I didn't like that feeling. So I was up, I was trying to go to bed. And something was keeping me up. So I went over to the kitchen. I said, oh shit, I can't confirm. And guess what? The bitch gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Oh yeah.
You want to see that dumpster fire of a live that she did in her kitchen in the middle of the night on the 12th, because shit was starting to crumble in her hands because other people were warning her that there was things going wrong and they already had enough money for the attorney. Yeah, you know that date. Anyways, if you want to see that, we already reviewed that a couple videos back. It is Molly in her kitchen on July 12th. Go check it out.
And what do you know?
Oh yeah, okay, let me tell you what happened when I first met her real quick. So like I go in and I'm talking to Katie and she joins my server and it was over this other issue I won't bring up. So she tells me about that. She scolds me. Like she literally like treated me like I was her child and scolded me, and she started to cry. So we got past that. It took about 20 minutes. And then she told me how she gets her, you got to hear this before we talk about anything else. She told me how she gets her sources. Okay. And I haven't done a video on this yet and I always meant to. So she told me that she would get a hold of maids for famous people, like straight up, like 100%. She said this in front of other people, so she can't say I'm lying. And I criticized her for it. So she would get a hold of maids and people that cleaned other people's houses or had some contact with a rich person, or, you know, like Lindsay. I'm not saying she did this to Lindsay Chrisley, but it's like an example, right? And then she would use talking to them to build like a web. And this is literally out of her mouth. And then she would connect to the people they talked about as a friend, kind of like not as the YouTuber, like as a big YouTuber, but like, hey, what's going on with this? And that's how she built connections into bigger YouTubers and bigger people's communities. And I always thought that was really deceptive and never liked that either, because it's like almost invasion of privacy. But yeah, pretty crazy stuff. It sounds a little bit like that whole source thing you just mentioned is why I brought that up. So
like a trickle down effect almost.
Yeah. And then
by doing this, his intention, I think, is to establish that he is not associated with Katie in the ways that they think. But by doing this, what he's doing for them is establishing that Katie cannot be trusted. That is basically what they are trying to establish, because remember, their narrative is that Katie started this all. So if they can continue to discredit Katie and say that this is all Katie's fault, they will continue to be able to push this narrative off to their followings and everybody else. Because if Katie continues to be the bad guy and everybody is stating, hey, she's not reliable, then it validates them, if that makes sense. And once again, I have never worked with any of these creators before at all, or had a partnership or whatever. I have had very minimal conversations with Katie and none with Uni. So it's really interesting to me that this, again, is what they are trying to push the narrative as. But here we are. Just because I know my words will be twisted right there. I've never had a partnership with any of them or a relationship with any of them before, after, now, anything whatsoever.
If somebody tells you something, like they're in there cleaning, they're going to see parts of their life they probably don't want out there. And then, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I criticize that on it pretty heavily myself. So you've experienced it. You've experienced.
Then he validates her. When in reality, when Katie was brought up, he should have said, I'm sorry, she doesn't have any involvement in the things that I am researching. We do not need to talk about her at this time because she's not a relevant topic in the conversation. We can go back and talk about it after.
It's the same thing.
Because I didn't feel okay. I didn't feel okay. And I had the Patreons going, and I had the members and everybody saying this, that, and the other thing about her. And I had no idea. And I've never regretted anything more than going on her panel.
That's the only thing I've ever regretted.
Ever. So,
and not what happened. They actually went live together. They promoted each other's channels for a few days, sent people to watch each other's videos because they were both releasing stuff from the family. See, Letitia was telling multiple people multiple different stories, but not just these guys, not just the YouTube creators, hence all of this other stuff that's coming out.
You know, I have that same thing.
This is what happened. It comes to, we were talking to Miss Letitia, we talked to Miss Letitia, we talked to Miss Wynette, we talked to Mr. Marvin.
Again, many people had been talking to Letitia and the family. They weren't something special at that point in time. It wasn't exclusive. The family had direct connections to multiple people.
We come to find out that Mr. Marvin was having a private discussion with Katie that we knew nothing about. He hung up the phone on Katie. And what Miss Wynette and Marvin told us is that he got a very bad vibe from her and hung up.
Molly states she didn't know about this conversation. Molly had already started to flip on Katie back on the 12th of July. Go back and watch her videos in the progression. You will see it yourself. This isn't how it played out. At that time, she didn't know about the phone call even.
She kept calling and calling and calling. That's what
Katie was calling? You said Katie did, right? Okay.
Katie was not taking no for an answer.
With Marvin Sr.?
Loving mind.
Ooh.
And Wynette said, I bet you she's going to flip the script now. And Wynette was right. And she did that day. So then she started to say that this was a scam.
I wish he would have stopped her right here and said, what question did Katie ask Marvin Sr. that prompted him to hang up the phone? What was it? Because we know it wasn't just a feeling, because Wynette's still kind about her.
And she requested her money back from GoFundMe, $1,100. Then she puts out some little thing saying that she was lying. She said that she went to GoFundMe and that they had this big investigation and that the higher ups decided that it was indeed a scam and everybody should get their
only refunds that have taken place to date that we know about have been refunds off of GoFundMe.
Money back. But guess what? If they deem it a scam, they
shut it down. Yeah,
I actually had a conversation with GoFundMe a while back, and they explained the refund policy very specifically to me, and it was very clear. You can get refunds through GoFundMe, and that mean instant removal of the account or that they deem the account fraudulent. They have to have numerous complaints, and he also told me sometimes it takes time to catch up with all the reports.
They would stop it from having more refunds in the very least.
Absolutely.
They put it on pause.
Unfortunately, again, that's not true. It's not always paused, or is it always deemed fraudulent or a scam? That is not how it's always deemed. Sometimes a certain refund can be deemed individually, not the entire campaign.
I got the blame, and I will take responsibility because I do not like GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Every time that I've given to GoFundMe, I have been burned. 2 funerals that didn't happen, that went to vacations and the like, and I just always been burned, and I don't like it. I'd rather give it directly to them.
We've heard her say this a million times at this point, that she doesn't trust GoFundMe, that she did encourage people to send it directly to Letitia. We know this, it's been addressed, and he should have nailed her with that right there. If you don't like GoFundMe, then why didn't you use another crowdfunding source that is legit to help the family? Why did you instantly go for the Cash Apps, the PayPals, the things that are always involved in scams? That's what he should have hit her with right there. But he didn't.
I don't understand that.
My first donation was so large that Justin said, oh my God, Marissa, let me give you something towards that.
Anybody else feel like they're just hearing blah, 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 blah. We've heard these lies 5,000 times. Like, this is so ridiculous. And I wish he would have stopped them and said, this conversation is pointless at this point. Can we get back on topic or something? But here we are.
I continue to push the Cash App. Now,
I was trying to listen closely to continue or continued, but I'm pretty sure she says continue, which we know she is continuing to push and try to fundraise, which he should have taken this opportunity to say right then and there, why are you still collecting funds? What is the overall goal? What is this money going towards? Exactly how is this benefiting Marvon or his children?
other people were saying, can we get a PayPal because we're in Australia? Can we get a Zelle? Now they're getting all confused with all these money apps. I'm sorry for that.
Right here, I wish he would have cut her off and said, but didn't Letitia give you guys that information for her accounts? The accounts that she supposedly didn't have at one point in time? You know, the ones that, in fact, she just had to log back in to reactivate? You know, those accounts? Yeah.
Now, there were several times where people would give me $50, and then 2 o'clock in the morning, people saying, here, give this to them. And I'd go, all right, I got $50 to Letitia. Sure, boom, boom.
I wish he would have stopped her right then and there and said, do you now understand why you are involved? Because you yourself just said that you were collecting money and then forwarding it on. So that involved her right there.
Never kept anything for myself.
I believe you.
I ever received
By him saying that he believes her, super counterproductive. Because if you believed what she was saying, why are you there trying to ask her questions? If you believed her, why are you there?
Uni was $100. I got $100 from Wynette. She said, this is for your baby Jake towards the clothes.
I can understand that too, definitely.
I swear on my life.
I'm glad he understands that because I don't. I don't understand why Wynette and Marvon Sr. would be sending Molly anything, considering they are trying to get back out to Arizona and they're currently raising funds to make that trip possible. So it is counterproductive, and Molly could have sent it back.
When I got paid, I got paid over $18,000.
Keep saying, Uni, get back on track, get back on track. Because we don't care about the money she's made from covering the story. We know it's a lot. What we care about is it doesn't make sense why they're passing money back and forth.
Another fucking chunk I gave another chunk to Wynette, and she said, oh my God, Molly, why? And I said, I want to help you.
Yeah, definitely.
But people don't think it makes sense at all. Because if Wynette is able to send her back $100 for her son's whatever it be, then she obviously doesn't need fundraising.
I can see that. I think it's good to help. That's like what you said about GoFundMe. I can completely understand because like we've investigated several old GoFundMe fundraisers, and a good portion of them will have those kind of issues. So, and you know, once people and their donators out there have issues, they swarm our channel, and then of course we start looking at it. So there
is a lot of issues that do happen with GoFundMe fundraisers at times, but there's always ways to handle this stuff in the legit manner. And this isn't it. Using Cash App has way more issues. At least on GoFundMe, there is a refund process. On Cash App, there is none. When you start sending to random payment apps, you have totally lost any control.
Good to hear, you know, that you said 100 towards clothes. I can completely understand that. And it's just kind of like an appreciation token. Okay. Yeah.
My question to Molly would have been, why did you tell your following? If it was just an appreciation token and you knew that it could be misconstrued, why did you tell your following? Because that seems intentional. And secondly, if they are needing fund money to get back out to Arizona, then why are they sending money to you? Does that make sense?
Be real honest with you.
Yeah, please.
Me in the eye. And
first of all, you're through a computer screen, so looking at you in the eye is a little impossible to do. But here we are. You know, my eyeballs would have been going here, there, everywhere, cross-eyed, you know, whatever, but that's just me.
Oh, yeah.
I want to tell you, do you know how hurtful it is to give and give and give and have
that was your choice to give and give and give.
Someone just snap their fingers and say, you know what? Everything that you've done, every tear that you have ever fucking shed.
There's a tear in my beer, and
I know. No, Molly, I know. It's okay. I get it. I can tell you want good things.
It's fucking
I get
disgusting.
And the Academy Award goes to, and if you don't think that this is all acting, then go look at some of the old videos.
We get a lot, Unirock. I mean, we really
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
How did this just become a pity party for them?
You guys are making, I can tell because you state what you give, and I've heard some clips.
Don't you think I feel guilty getting all this money? And I don't know what to do when I
How he didn't bust out laughing here is beyond me, because I would have lost it. This is so ridiculous. This is not about them. And do I think for 1 second that she feels guilty about all the money she's making? Nope, not at all. Do any of you think she feels guilty? Again, the conversation was supposed to be about refunds and Letitia. That's what this conversation was about. And it's been about everything but the actual meat and potatoes of the issues.
Give it to them, and then if I show what I give, they say, "Oh, you're bragging." You can't fucking win. You just can't fucking win.
In my opinion, it's about being aware. And she is obviously not aware. She is covering a case where the parents need crowdfunding, her words, not mine, to be able to see their son. But yet she comes on bragging about buying a $30,000 cash car for her son who has no driver's license. That's what I'm saying.
YouTube thing, though. And you should feel good about the money you make.
A fucking, a legit fundraiser through YouTube, $50,000 that goes straight to fucking kids with this age Jude. They said that I took $50,000.
Again, a fundraiser through YouTube is totally different than what this is. Totally off topic again.
And people will do that
too. They all got fucking receipts.
And I think
on Samuel's birthday, I spent hundreds of dollars, $200 on all this stuff for the birthday. Woke up early, set it up, and then at the end donated $600, raised to, how much money? $7,000.
Yeah. I donated so much about it.
$500 at the very end. I was in fucking tears. And then what? Well, I'm called a fucking scam artist again.
Frankly, I could give two shits about what she did for his birthday. Again, has nothing to do with refunds or Letitia at all.
Do you know how that fucking feels?
I do. I get it, because YouTube's one of those kind of places.
Help these kids, but no, it sucks because either way, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you fucking don't.
Obviously, this isn't the first time they've been involved in situations.
You are, and listen. The thing is, though, like, you can only pull from yourself. You know, if you're giving and you're really trying, and there's other issues that are up in the front that stop, other people from seeing what's going on, it'll work out in the end. I think most people are just concerned just because some of the theatrics, which
at least he says the theatrics, because it has been a show. A complete shit show.
I've been a YouTuber for a very long time. I get it. I'm not, judging anyone for any of it. Trust me.
It's not about judging. It's about getting to the bottom of the facts.
Go ahead, Justin. Yeah, sorry.
No, I mean, what is the basic issue that you have with us?
What is the basic issue that you have with us? Again, making this a personal issue instead of about the facts in Marvon's story. That's what this is supposed to be about. Refunds and Letitia.
I mean, because
I try to be really vocal. I don't have an issue with you guys personally at all, or in general.
And this is why we've been in a spin cycle on repeat and repeat and repeat, is because everybody keeps making this a creator issue instead of the issues at hand of refunds, Letitia, and all of the misinformation.
More of just the donators. I get the way it seems threatening that they wanted some kind of fact check, because like you said, nobody knows here on the internet where money's going and what's going to happen.
Actually, they didn't really even want a fact check at the beginning. When this started, there had been multiple stories being told to multiple people. That's what started the confusion and people asking questions, because there was supposedly an attorney, then there wasn't. People were helping her. Hands were involved before any YouTube creators got involved. That's the point that people are. This was already happening before these YouTube creators started playing the blame game.
And that's why it's really hard for donators who, just like you, Molly, have that feeling in them that they're giving and that they're not getting the appreciation for it.
This has nothing to do with anybody feeling appreciated or underappreciated. It has to do with intentional lies being told.
It'll happen in pockets. You feel it, and then maybe 1,000 people feel it here, and it creates this kind of miscommunication thing. So I'm glad you let me talk to you, because it'll, I think, clear some things up. But I guess the major issue is just that people wanted to know that Letitia got the lawyer. They wanted to know that. You know what I mean?
We are 16 weeks in. 16 weeks in. Supposedly, she's paid $8,700 to this attorney, and there is not one thing filed in court on behalf of Marvon or anything. You tell me that she has an attorney. Still to this day. Not saying that she's never worked with one, but you tell me right now that she has an attorney. Based off of that, $8,700 spent and not a dime on anything filed.
Can you see proof of that, though, when the lawyer was doxxed?
Katie doxed the lawyer.
Yeah.
I know she doxed the lawyer. And
That's not true either. They're doxed by an account by the name of Evelyn Tree. it was put on Ultimate Deception, the page, you know, that Eve was a part of.
No, I saw that, but the thing is, though, it's not. You know, if saying that she has a lawyer doesn't mean that she's using a lawyer, that she paid the lawyer all the money or any of that stuff. Now,
so by Molly's reaction to what Uni just said, you can tell that she expects him to take her word at face value. They will not be showing any proof. I highly doubt.
don't think I'm judging. I'm not. Like, I don't expect
People deserve answers. They donated willingly.
Letitia to give all the money to the lawyer. I would, if I were her, I would have kept, you know, I would have kept a pocket to make sure I can see Marvon again and that I can feed myself and get a hotel.
On the low side of things, Letitia had over $10,000 on the 12th of July. By the 15th, she had at least $14,000. There has been plenty for the attorneys and all of their travel. Plus, people have offered to pay for plane trips, hotel, all of this. Spent funds spent.
I think that there's just miscommunication because while like a lot of the donators, maybe there'll be a few that might want a refund or something in the end, which they don't have to have, by the way. Even if they want it.
Maybe some people have reached out to Uni and said, you know, I don't care about getting a refund or this, that. I haven't heard that. I have heard one person say, yeah, it's okay if she keeps it. Otherwise, everybody else has said, no, I want my refund. But nobody has gotten. What's the issue here? Nobody has gotten a refund, and they're claiming that all of these refunds have happened.
You include the $1,100 that KJ took back from GoFundMe. She's donated. She has refunded an additional over $4,000.
Well, I know that that's what the issue is that
do you want to see that?
Hold on, Uni. She asked you if you wanted to see this and you didn't say yes. You should have instantly said yes. But let me get back to what she just said, because she asked if he wants to see this proof of refunds. Well, she doesn't call it proof, but do you want to see that? Yes. People want to see all of the accounting of all these accounts that supposedly were refunding, because not a single person that has donated that has asked for a refund has gotten one. So how did she selectively miss every single other person that has asked for a refund and only got accounts that never donated to her? Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't. So yes, people absolutely deserve to see the accounting of these donations. There has been far too many times and abilities of people to answer these with proof. At this point in time, yes, people demand to see the proof that this happened. 100%.
I think that people would want to, or that maybe like it would help.
If you're not believing it.
No,
right?
It's not me. It's not me. No. I am believing you. I'm going to.
By the way, Goose is now being called Letitia's advocate. She is like the fifth advocate. She's the replacement advocate. She is number 5 or 6 in line of the information being passed around incorrectly. It's like a game of bad telephone that there's always been a break in the line since moment 1. That's where we're at. So if anybody just believes what she says without proof, you're insane, because there's no proof. None has been shown at all.
Take anything you tell me as you saying it, and then I'm going to apply it to what I have. I'm not going to think anything like you're lying, or I'm not going to put anything like there's negative inference, but I'm just going to look at what we have after seeing what's there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in my opinion, he's telling her he's on a fact-finding mission.
I'm not here to bust you or put you down or anything, as much as, you know, maybe that's what you think. I just want.
Oh, the little meek voice of, you're calling a scam artist. First and foremost, nonsense. Me. Nonsense. Contessa over here hasn't called anybody a scam artist. You're an opportunity.
When you dox people, I don't like.
The doxing doesn't make her a scam artist. The doxing of the women who have asked for refunds makes her a piece of shit. That's what that is.
I know that you probably don't think you did or something, and you were probably mad about this and that. So when these
I wish I had a little stun gun to just hit him in the side with.
things happen, people will throw around stuff like that. I don't think I directly called you a scam artist, Molly, but I know. That's why I said
Molly's in the background saying we all get doxed. We all get doxed. Actually, there's a lot of private citizens that were doxed because they asked for a refund, which you guys said they were allowed to get, and then you doxed these people and have drug them all over the internet. So no, it's not really we all get doxed. You're a YouTuber. I'm a YouTuber now, even though I'm anonymous and you're trying to pay somebody for my information. It is what it is. But there's a lot of private people that have been brought in and involved in this and drugged through the absolute mud because of people like you and their behaviors. That's why.
that. I get what you're saying. I'm not here to judge you. I promise. I'm just here. I'm just a YouTuber, and I'm going to tell a story. And in the end, I'm just going to put a video out. And so you talking to me does help me get a perspective on where you're at and what you think. And I'm just here to hear it if you're willing to say it to me. So
I get he's giving them the freedom to talk. trying to open up a line of communication. So he's trying not to go in accusatory or too aggressive, so on and so forth. I understand that. Everybody has their little different tactics. However, ask the questions. Ask the questions. You're not asking them anything. So you're letting them control the narrative once again. By you not being forthcoming and saying, this is what we demand to know, you are letting them control the narrative and the story.
You know what I mean? I would hope we could work
I
together to some
appreciate
extent.
you
We don't have to. Oh, every time. I'll come anytime someone invites me. So, you know, it's just a rule I have. So
I'm hoping we can work together. That's meaning I hope that we can figure this out so we can come to an understanding of what's going on in the story, right?
But, you know, that's the thing. Like, I think what happened, and I could try to be a little like forgiving to Letitia, okay, and say maybe she doesn't understand the refund process because
Okay, let's just say that she doesn't understand the refund process. Then how the hell did she refund $5,100 to people? Tell me that.
refund process is you press, like when you get a dono on Cash App, PayPal, or wherever, it comes through as that dono. And a refund would be opening that donation, and it has a refund option there. Now, Letitia may not know that, and she may think refunding is a complex, overly like hardcore process where she has to go in and get a name and find out how much they gave and then give the money back. And you just don't do that because
But that's not what she thinks, because she herself has stated she's gone in and she found out that a lot of the people who have requested refunds have never donated to her. So first and foremost, they wouldn't show up as a refund. They would just show up as a request, not a refund. Because if these people hadn't donated to her, they wouldn't be in her history, correct? And is there only one Cash App account? Because there's a lot of people that seem to think there's been multiple used by Letitia. Multiple. And
there's fees involved, there's transaction things involved that will be like Cash App is or let's do PayPal as an example. Like they keep a percentage, right? So if you have to refund, what they'll do is they'll refund through that dono so that those processing charges are also refunded, right? They refund too. PayPal does. I don't know if Cash App does.
most of you know that Cash App is absolutely hell to work with when it comes to refunds. It is one of the scammers' favorites to use, and it is hell to get a refund from.
It's an example. So I could see maybe that Letitia, if she doesn't know that that's like a function of things, could have given out refunds, like she said, to people, and maybe, you know, certain people didn't get some, other people's did.
Okay, again, let's try that theory for a second. Let's say she was going in and getting requests for money, because they wouldn't have been refunds, right? Because these people had never donated to her. So she's sending these, right? Unknowingly. But then she gets requests for refunds, actual requests for refunds. And we know that they started on the 10th of July. We've got proof of that. And it didn't start with Katie and GoFundMe. It was actually started on Cash App. So we have a declined transaction or a denied refund request from Letitia on the 10th of July. So then you're telling me that she got all these requests for payment, didn't get any money from these people, but started sending all of these random people money, thinking that they were refunds, when in reality they were just requests, but happened to miss all of these first refund requests that were actual legit donators.
Of the lawyer. And now I don't want to force her to, because she could have a good reason, and I completely
Tell you what
understand
she
that.
did.
Yes,
So
please.
at first, so when I think I mentioned either here or on Tia's channel about how like some people were getting donations that hadn't donated yet. So what had happened, because it was new to Letitia, is that people were sending like a request for payment and then putting in the notes in the notes that they were due a refund because of either they had donated this amount of money or one person was trying to do that and get $2,000. And so then everything was shut off. You know?
So that's exactly what they're trying to say, is that people were sending random requests to get refunds, but because they had never donated before, they had no previous history in Cash App, so they were putting in the notes section that they were owed a refund from a previous donation. Huh? How does that work? Because in the history, it would link that all together. So in the history of Cash App, you would see the donation and the refund, right? Oh, wait, these people never donated. That makes zero sense. So she's just going to start sending money to people because in the notes, it says that they're owed a refund. Who in the hell is going to do that, really, honestly? She's just going to take somebody's word and read a note that says, I'm owed a refund, and not go in and check the account activity.
So you couldn't donate or any, you couldn't really touch her account at all. And then she contacted Cash App, and Cash App went through everything, and they looked at all the stuff that showed donations and true refunds, and that's how
donations and true refunds. Let's clarify what are true refunds, because not a single person that actually donated to Letitia that has asked for a refund has gotten one. So what you're referring to is the donations, aka the money that you guys are claiming she randomly sent to random requests off of the internet. That's what you guys are going with, right? Okay.
the over $4,000 got refunded back to people was because Cash App literally was, I don't know if they were on the phone or whatever, but they worked on it together. And then that's how
scammed herself.
Yeah,
probably.
So that's
You're
how
right.
all that part got fixed.
Uni, I need a cattle prod just to zap you a few times over here. I understand what you're trying to do, but man alive, stop agreeing with them and saying you're right, because they're not right. They're not. Letitia has refunded no one. There's no proof that this happened. And if she's sending money to random people, yeah, she got scammed. That happens, unfortunately, with big fundraisers. If it becomes public, people start sending random stuff. That's why it's so important to have legit fundraisers that are controlled and monitored by somebody that is really paying attention, because things do get messy. And when you have all over social media, trolls do stupid shit. Let's be honest about that too, because there will be random requests for this or that or whatever. But she knows that their son is very tech savvy. They've talked about that.
And then so right now, and this was as of me talking to her last night, there's one refund that's still like, Cash App has told her she doesn't have to refund it back, but she
Isn't that a little tricky something you tried to pull there, Goose? Cash App doesn't refund anyone. So Cash App didn't side with Letitia like you're trying to make it seem at all. It's not like GoFundMe. It's not like PayPal. It's not.
is trying to figure out if she should or not, because it doesn't have anything to do with donating for a lawyer or anything like that. So
I get you.
September 2nd, they're claiming that there's only one refund outstanding. But we know that there hasn't been one refund issued off of anything other than GoFundMe. Not a single one.
I get you.
That's the only one that she doesn't have.
She doesn't have any refund requests sitting on Cash App. You know why that is? Does anybody remember the live they did of teaching Letitia how to shut her stuff off? Oh, wait, that was done before that live was even done. How many times has she blocked off of Cash App from requesting refunds?
This is the thing. It's like, people were donating out of the goodness of their hearts, Rock. You know what I mean? And I believe that. I believe every single one of these people, even the ones who have requested refunds, were donating out of the goodness of their hearts.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry. I had to ask my girlfriend to bring me something. Go ahead, sorry.
I believe everyone was donating out of the goodness of their hearts. But then after KJ said, this is a scam, automatically it was everyone
overwhelmed, like rushed. Yeah.
And this is where it really sets things apart, because obviously Uni wasn't prepared going into this conversation with dates and or proof. Funds started being requested around the 9th and 10th. So Letitia herself admits in text messages to the admin that people were complaining and asking for refunds. We have the proof. We've shown it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone starts requesting refunds. And
I think we should play a game. Every time that we catch one of them in a lie, y'all have to drink. Except for, I don't think anybody would be walking tomorrow or showing up for work at all.
this is the thing. We put her Cash App up. If you wanted to donate, donate. If you didn't, don't. You know, and that's all it was.
Justin's using past tense, like they did this. Meanwhile, they have still been collecting donations. Still collecting.
Was just trying. We didn't know it was going to get this big or anything. You know, when you do a story, you don't know how it's going to go. And
it was huge. I just saw. I made a mistake. I usually look at Social Blade when I first go into a story, and I didn't until like a few days ago. And it was. I noticed that it was way bigger than I thought too, and that probably intimidated all like Letitia and everything. There's probably a lot of donations at that point.
Well, I think really quick about the Social Blade, one of the things that I learned was when someone does a fundraiser, so like, you know, usually you have a super chat button, but when you do an actual YouTube fundraiser and you pick out an organization, that super chat button is gone and it turns into a donation button. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when you go back and you look at Social Blade for that day, it's going to look like that person got donations. And like, so for the video where I think Chris ended up getting like just under $7,800 donated for missing and exploited children, it's going to look like she got that in super chats. Cause I think it's the way that they use their algorithm to figure out, you know, cause obviously they're not going and watching every single one of the YouTube creators videos to calculate all this stuff. There's a formula that they use in order to pick up, you know, the range of
donations and stuff like that. So like I checked this like when Judy did a
Does anybody else's brain go like this when Goose speaks? Because this is what mine does. Want to hear it? That's exactly what my brain does every time she speaks, because it's just useless babble. Nobody gives a shit about some other fundraiser that's completely unrelated to Letitia and or Marvan's story. This is supposed to be about what's happening with refunds and Letitia. That's it. I can't even figure out how to get mods on YouTube, let alone what the hell Social Blade is. I don't know how you people have all the time for this. I guess maybe my priorities are my family first over YouTube, but oh well.
Razor. And that day it showed that he made, you know, $1,500 or
Told you all brains are going
whatever it was for that, right when I went and looked at it. Could be more now because people can continue to donate. But so I think that's part of the issue too, because people will say like, oh, well, Marissa made, you know, $7,000 on this fundraiser for St. Jude, or not St. Jude, but missing and exploited children, when in reality she didn't make anything through YouTube. Now, if somebody posts this under a Cash App or a PayPal or something like that, like some people just do that. I mean, they see that she's making this video and she's putting it out for people, and some people just want to say, hey, thank you, we appreciate this or whatever, and send her a Cash App or a PayPal or whatever, and then she gets scolded. But it's not like she's sitting there going, hey, I'm doing this fundraiser for, you know, 2, 4, 6, 8 hours, whatever the, you know, if it's missing and exploited children or it's St. Jude, you know, she's not sitting there going, oh, hey, you should send me some money. Like her goal is literally raising money for that particular organization. So I think that's part of the issue too, is when people don't know how Social Blade works on a day for a donation. And so
the issue super chats comes in because people were putting notes with their super chats and sending them to Molly or Justin or Elle and saying, please forward this on to Letitia. Many people had asked in the beginning, look, are super chats going to Letitia or not? The creators themselves said, some of them in the beginning said, yes, they will forward them on. Then they said, there's fees involved and we're not doing that. It has been confusing and never really clarified if super chats were going to Letitia or not.
Can't go off of the numbers when it's a legit YouTube fundraiser.
Yeah, definitely.
If this had been done all through YouTube and a legit fundraiser, this would have never been questioned whatsoever. So why they're trying to talk about other fundraisers at the same time as this one is beyond me.
I just want to say, I mean, I think that's great that I noticed that she had when I looked at her channel and then Social Blade that she did those fundraisers. I think that's a great thing. I'm not going to take that away or anything. Like, not a lot of YouTubers never do that. So, you know, I do notice Molly makes an increased attempt, probably like she said, because what people put on her and say about her, that it's a good thing. That money goes a long way to little organizations and it helps them turn into bigger organizations. So it's a really good gesture.
Nobody has said that Molly and Justin or Elle are not generous people. That has never been said. It has been said that there are problems in this story, that people are spreading misinformation that is causing a lot of issues. And people have been intentionally misled and are continuing to be misled. And they are still collecting funds. That's the issues here.
So my goal, I guess, talking to you guys would be like saying, whatever Letitia could be comfortable to do to kind of ease people so that they won't want as many refunds. And I can't make them, but I think that a little bit of proof and a little bit of understanding might help the people that want refunds, you know, change their mind even. So
I just want one of those little buttons that every time I press it, he gets shocked or something. That's what I want. Or a palm to the forehead.
I don't know what we can do. We could maybe talk about it. I know Letitia, because I know there's the clip of Molly saying that there's certain things she can't or won't say. And I know other people might not understand that. I do, because Marvan is in a coma and I was in a coma myself. I was medevaced out of Iraq and I had to have a hip and an arm surgery. I get paid every month. I'm almost fully disabled through the military, and I sympathize with what Marvan's going through. So there's a lot of angles. This story is very complicated is all I'm really trying to say. So I mean,
veterans, yeah.
This is a very complex story that many people can relate to in some way, shape, or form. And Uni, thank you for your service. I do think it gets muddy though, because there has been intentional mislaid information.
So yeah, I just hope that you know, maybe like we can take a breath, everybody can chill, and maybe we can talk to.
I think he kind of starts to realize he's getting nowhere and it's just spinning in circles, and they have no intentions whatsoever on showing him proof of anything. It's either take their word for it or not.
I think that he would probably be a little more softer given the circumstances of this story.
One of Molly's great manipulation tactics. You would think he would be softer about this, considering you have similar experiences, basically, is what she's saying. Because he's asking questions, it means he doesn't have sympathy or empathy for the story, right? That's your theory. Because anybody asking questions, obviously, is an evil person. That's what you've said many times. But what about Marvon? This is Marvon's story. Are we supposed to ignore everything that's happening to Marvon in Marvon's story? The victim of this story? Because in your line of reasoning, Molly, we all just forget Marvon and only pay attention to Letitia and Letitia's needs and wants. Forget everybody else, including his adoptive family that raised him. We're supposed to forget everybody else. This is just about having sympathy for Letitia. Because I can be clear, it's not about Marvon.
I've tried, you know, my content's there, and you probably only see clips when we're first experiencing.
YouTubers are weird. They do this little weird posturing thing, like, I don't watch you, but I know everything about you. I have to watch all you fools because you say too much all the time.
Okay, well, people, you know, anyone would only see a clip of maybe like when we're first seeing a clip or first trying to figure out what's going on. But if you did watch one of my videos, I constantly am trying to say, you know, I do give opinions on things as they sit, like I did in the beginning with Justin there. But for the most part, I've said constantly that I like your personality, and we just want to get to the truth. And I mean, it'd be really hard to go through my streams and find me insulting or putting you guys down, in my opinion. So
this is exhausting. This is exhausting because it's a personal conversation about how the creators are feeling about each other. Nothing to do with actually what's going on at all. Like, we have done this, we're 56 minutes in on this video, and we have maybe heard them talk about Letitia and refunds for 2 of those minutes.
Probably there, just like it is with you guys and saying about Katie and stuff, responding to something that I might have thought you said about me, but other than that, I don't think you'll find it. But
well, yeah, when people clip stuff, I think it a lot of times can be, you know, it can be taken out of context. No matter, you know.
Because, you know, I feel I don't want to be, what I'm trying to say, I don't want to be an intruder or something, and I don't want to, the only thing I'd want to do is if there's any possible way I can help maybe get things sorted out so that Letitia's more comfortable, I'd want to offer that. And if she doesn't want that, that's fine. Like, I'm not trying to put myself into this situation with the family or anything. I just want to be able to say to donators that are like, I didn't get proof and it made me want to refund. Here's what happened. Now you can add that to make up your mind, and maybe it can help you go the way you guys and Letitia wants it to go. I mean, that'd be, I think, a good thing, right? So
I kind of feel like Uni is already realizing that this has gone nowhere and this is probably not worth his time because he seems pretty deflated right here. And I get it. But dude, you could have gone in guns blazing and still held them to the fire. You could have put the toes to the fire and at least asked some questions. And I think that's why people are upset, is because you had an opportunity to hold them accountable for something, or at least ask the questions. And you didn't, unfortunately. You let them control the narrative and or control you. And that sucks. But they do to everybody. And if they wouldn't have been able to do this to him, they would have kicked him off. It's either they control the narrative or they boot somebody off. They're not about to have an open discussion and or back and forth dialogue. With me, they have no interest of talking to me. They won't even come near my, because I am fact-based.
I just feel really bad. You know, Rock, we kind of choose this. This is our job, right? This is all 3 of our jobs, right? But like a mother, you know, I mean, she had Vaughn when she was 15. She was a kid herself, you know what I mean? Yeah. And yeah, she didn't make all the best decisions, but if I was a parent at 15, I couldn't imagine being a parent at 15. You know what I mean? So
I said the same thing on my channel. Yeah, I don't judge Letitia for mistakes like would have been made in that scenario. And
oh, Spanky, me and you are gonna have words one of these days. I can guarantee it, because you are trying to pull sympathy from your following once again for Letitia. We know Letitia put Marvon up for adoption. Okay, we all are aware of that. Yet it's been skirted over because you guys don't want to pay attention to the facts that legally changed things. She has no legally standing to Marvon. That's the issue with the adoption. Nothing about her putting Marvon up for adoption has been discussed in a negative fashion. It has been discussed solely to explain that is why it is a problem that she can't file stuff in court on his behalf, because legally she has no standing because of this adoption. Not because she's a bad person because she put him up for adoption. That's not the story. That's not how this has gone. Yes, of course, there's always trolls, but the majority of us, no.
You know, I can understand the pain she's in slightly, because I just went through my son in December. I had to give him CPR, and it messed me up. He was blue in the face for like a minute, and I got him back up, and everything's fine. And he's fine now. No, thank you. But what I'm trying to say is, for a good minute, I thought he was gone, right? And
but that's like PTSD. You never get over it.
I went to therapy at the VA for months over just a minute of it. So I can't fathom what Letitia or anyone goes through in that situation. So
I don't know how many people have reached out to Letitia and asked her if they could help her to seek help off of social media, to get off of social media, the one place that is causing her continual havoc. Do you know how many people have genuinely reached out and said, hey, this isn't turning out well, and it's going to cause you more issues on top of what you're already going through? Do you know how many people have attempted to bridge a gap between Letitia and Dre and play mediator so there could be peace in this situation before it got brought to social media? Do you know how many people genuinely love this family and have tried to broker all of this? Anybody have a clue? Because it's a ton. It's a ton. And she has chosen to stay here. So yes, I sympathize with the situation of her son being in a coma, but she continues to put herself in this situation.
Just wanted to tell you, for what it's worth, I just texted Letitia and I heard back from her, and every single person that has requested a refund up until this very moment has received their refund, with the exception of this one person that donated to her, saying basically, I'm sorry for what KJ did to you. Here's your I want to give you something. That's the only donation. And so other than that, she has refunded every single person that has requested one. Just so you know.
I'm expecting, off what Goose just said, that everybody in the comments right now is going to be, I got my refund, I got my refund, I got my refund, right? Besides one person. Oh wait, you guys are all really silent. Nobody got one still?
Talk to her, like, don't tell her I said this or anything, because I don't know what.
Well, to be honest,
I don't want to
watching it.
I think she's in the chat right now.
Oh, okay, good.
That just proved the point. She's in the chat. Has made choices of how she's spending her time and what she's included herself in. Choices she's
made. I would hope that maybe there's a way that people would request less refunds.
I'm using a squish ball right now. You know, those ones that you can squish between your fingers? That's your head at the moment. Not really, but seriously, dude. You would hope that people would request refunds. Nobody has gotten a single refund. So why would people stop requesting refunds?
As long as, because like Letitia's saying, I did what I'm supposed to do. So.
The damage is already done. AKA, we don't intend on showing you shit. No proof whatsoever.
The damage has already been done.
Okay, I get that. And so I know what you're saying with Katie. It's weird because these kind of stories, every time I come in and look at them, I don't know how Katie's always involved. It's just she's always involved.
She started this.
Yeah, and if you want to see that debunked, it's all over my channel.
You started this.
And what's
I'll
funny
definitely go look at that. I'll look back at that.
She got mad simply.
You just played into their narrative of blaming Katie for this. This isn't about Katie. I don't care what all of your pasts are with her. I don't even know her. But it's not about Katie. Stop.
Because of a video that was, I can't confirm. Like, I thought, it wasn't even a video where Marissa was bashing KJ or anything like that. She just put a video out literally just saying like, hey, I just want to say that like some of the things that she's saying, I can't confirm and stuff like that. So it's kind of crazy that she like freaked out. But I guess, I've been following.
There's a whole lot that they're conveniently not telling people about all of this live that had happened before, stating that money had already been secured, an attorney was on the horizon, that no further fundraising needed to be done. That had already happened. We were already there. The fallout between Katie and Molly had to happen because Molly needed control. Of course, we know that that's not how things happen. Things had already been going south. On the 10th of July, Letitia made a post in the Justice for Vaughn group saying that people had been calling her out and asking about money and all of this stuff. That had already been happening. She already addressed it at that point in time. Katie and Molly were still working together fine at that point in time. Their falling out was to do with Molly and Katie and sources and information. That had nothing to do with Letitia and refunds. Not a single thing.
I've known KJ for about 3 years now, and so I've seen some of the stuff that has happened, and I think she just instinctively thought, oh, this bitch is talking shit about me. You know what I mean? She just, instead of going, okay, that's not that.
I mean, you guys tell me, did you really think that them two were going to end up besties? I didn't know who either one of them were before this, and I could tell you that that was not going to end up well.
I know, because like, she was in my Discord server for like 6 months, but she only came in and talked maybe there was like 5 or 6 things that happened where she wanted me to like look at the story or cover a story, so she'd bring it to me. I had the same issues with her everyone else has. That's why we have this rocky relationship. When this first happened, she wanted me to unblock her in my chat. And so I was like, you know, and I have a rule where if you get blocked in my chat and you come and ask me, I'll unblock you. And I wasn't going to do it for Katie, but I was like, okay, things will be cool this time. She made it 3 days. And I was shocked she made it 3, but she made it 3 days. And then she didn't come back because she got mad that I gave an opinion that I felt was very fair. I still feel it's a fair opinion. I forget what it was, but
and again, right back into their past history.
She took it as slightly negative. I swear I didn't even mean it as negative towards her, but that's what she does. Like, so I can sympathize. I've been trying to figure out a way to get Katie to not have these, because I look at these issues and I'm more of like a moderator, like in my head. I'm like, what can we do so that YouTube can not have these things happen in the future? And there's just no way to do that with Katie because we're years into it and it still happens. But you know, it just, what do you do? What do you do, I guess?
I've said this a million times, but I can already tell what's going to be asked of me is why haven't I blocked Katie if I have no association with her? Because I'm a fan of open communication. I think that constructive conversations can be useful, especially when trying to get to the bottom of things like this. When you're trying to find facts, you don't cut off a part of the story that has facts of the story you're trying to tell. I block people who are downright annoying just to be annoying. That's who I block.
Also, I just wanted to tell you, so Letitia just sent me a screenshot because Michelle Sabate, or Sabate, or however she says her last name, is claiming that she requested a refund. She has not. She just...
With all due respect, I will not be addressing any of this situation with Michelle or talking about her. I think there's many other issues there, and I will not be discussing that over here at all. I'm sorry if that offends anybody.
Sent me a screenshot. She sent 2 donations. One, hold on, I'm going to try to look at it. Hopefully it won't kick me out.
Yeah, you're fine. While you're doing that, I've made my opinion on Michelle and Molly's issue has always been that Michelle should do whatever she thinks she should do. Molly should do what she should do. Maybe they should ignore each other. I don't know.
It's an incredibly toxic situation that is not healthy for anyone.
Like, is that drama came in my test days ago?
Yeah.
It's something like that, because, you know, Michelle's definitely a fire starter when she gets around Molly. So she doesn't target Molly fairly a lot to rile her up. I just said that today. So.
And she's not a very good listener. So she donated. I can't keep it open because I'm using my phone, so I can't keep open the text. But there's 2 donations, and it totals $125, and it literally shows there's no request that's been even asked yet. So I just wanted you to know so that in case she comes back in, for what it's worth. Like, you don't have to believe me, but
I try to believe everything somebody.
You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe me. But I'm not going to show you any proof. But just believe what I say. And exactly who is vouching that you are trustworthy, because you're not.
He asks me to believe, even if 2 people tell me opposing things, I try to give them both benefit of the doubt until I can figure it out later. But
y'all, I did take a chunk out of this section of the video where they're talking about Michelle and things with her. That is not going to be discussed over here because it doesn't matter in the story. And I'm not saying Michelle doesn't matter. I'm saying that they're using Michelle as a distraction, and I am not about to let that continue or fuel that fire. She needs to be left alone because this has nothing to do with Letitia or the refund situation and or all the intentional lies within the story. They're using Michelle as a distraction.
You guys will talk to me again because honestly, like, I've been streaming too long, over 4 hours, and I need a break. But I hope maybe we can talk again sometime because I think we just misunderstand each other a little. And whatever happens, I think it'll help us understand each other. And so if you will, I'll reach out or something, or you can reach out. Anytime I'm live, you're welcome. Oh, anytime. And I mean it, anytime.
Basically, the conversation is now over. Well, not quite, but the conversation was over 5 minutes into this, not even.
So. Thank you for coming over and just being, cordial and not raging and stuff like some people do when they come on panel. You know, it can be kind of scary. Like I was saying to Marissa, like, hurry up, put it on like 6 subscribers only for like an hour or whatever. And I think I accidentally said.
Basically, she's saying, thank you for coming over here and not asking us any questions. Thank you for coming over here without any proof and holding us accountable for anything that we've said. Thank you for coming over here and letting us continue to push our narrative. Thank you for coming over here and helping fuel our narrative that this is all to do with Katie and Katie's fault, and that's why it's all a bunch of BS. When in reality, there's a whole lot of us that have nothing to do with Katie that are saying there is something wrong, majorly. And we have shown nothing but facts. Facts that they can't dispute. And that's why they don't come over here. They stay over there because unfortunately, Uni wasn't prepared going into that conversation with a bunch of facts that he could nail them and say, here you are, this is it. This is the date that it was said. This is the date that it was done. This isn't making sense.
Members. So I apologize to anybody who might watch this afterwards. I wasn't trying to like
my
make it
cool, so.
I was just trying to protect the chat because you know how like all of a sudden a channel comes in and you don't know if they're gonna be nice or not, and then the mods are
100%.
having to go crazy. And I think
manipulation makes me want to throw up. She knew full well what the members on do. It controls any type of open communication.
It only got switched to members. And I think maybe Marissa switched it back to subs, but I know there's some people that aren't able to be watching it right now, so I just wanted to apologize for that. I wasn't trying to have it switched to members. I just wanted to
I get YouTube. Trust me, I get it all. I don't take anything offensive ever. Even people that insult me or anything, it ducks off water off a duck's back. And before I go though,
I'm really glad Uni gets Goose because I don't. Again, she talks, my brain goes because that's all that comes out of it, and nothing is factual based. She runs that mouth so fast, filled with nothing but hot air. It's so insane to me that she actually believes these lies that she is telling and continuing spreading the misinformation. What the hell?
Molly, if I said something that you took the wrong way, the last thing I want to do is make somebody cry. And I have always liked you when I saw clips of you out there. So I apologize if I ever did. I just want to be straight.
Scam artist hurt me.
I don't remember where I put that, and I'll look for it, and I'll talk.
Uni, stick to the term opportunist. That's what they are. They're opportunists. That is 100% the term that fits them in this situation. They saw an opportunity and took it. They are continuing to grasp on to this opportunity and ride it for all it's worth.
To my chat, I'll let them know how things went. And
we're just, I mean, Unirock, we're just not scam artists. Honest to God, I mean, on my mother and father's grave, I would never scam anybody. I have a
Justin, aka Spanky, as I've now nicknamed you. I don't know why either, because I do think you're really pretty and Drake, by the way. Anyways, I have to say, do you just take this information from these women and not check any of it? Honestly, do you really believe everything they do?
Job. This isn't my only job.
We have
what I mean?
I get you.
We're both happily married people. We have children. We have a lot to lose. We work
our
asses off. We go
I
out
get
to
it.
the
We're
field.
controversial people. I mean, there's not a lot of blonde-haired guys with makeup on, you know.
I wouldn't necessarily call you guys controversial. I think what I would call you is messy. Messy. Controversial, isn't it? You're not the only guy that dresses in drag and puts on makeup. You're beautiful when you do, though.
Well, there's only one guy with makeup on.
Or in the crime community, but no, I think you got a good channel. You're good, bro.
I think this was, I just want to say this. I think this was
I can acknowledge that somebody is still pretty in makeup and still not like their behavior. That's something as an adult we all should be able to do. I can look at you and say, you're beautiful in makeup, but I still can't stand your behavior. And that's exactly how I feel about this. He might be pretty on the outside, inside, no.
I think this was a really good for other people to see this and show that you can have a civil conversation. You know what I mean? Like, maybe people think it's going to go one way, but it's nice to be able to have a conversation and be able to talk about things. And then hopefully people will look at things a little bit differently instead of going, oh, yeah, they are fraudsters or they are scammers or whatever. Because I mean, I know probably, you know, the majority of people watching this video don't know me, but like, I would never, ever, ever be friends with, and no offense to you, Justin and Marissa, but like, if I found out that they were scamming, I wouldn't be friends with them. And that's just my word. And I know it doesn't mean much on YouTube. But
again, it's nice to be able to talk about things and, you know, all of this, because you didn't ask us for proof, so we didn't have to show anything. You said you believed us, so there's that. And you basically were manipulated by all of us the entire time. So yeah, great conversation. We love to have conversations like this, as long as we control what you think, what you say, and what you do. Okay? Do you have your mission now, everybody? And no, I have no ill feelings personally towards these people. I have ill feelings about their behaviors and the continual pass of misinformation and lies. Straight out lies. That's what we're just going to call it. It's not misinformation anymore. It's blatant lies. And you have not fact-checked anything. You just continually spew stuff out of your mouth because you heard it somewhere and read it.
Get that. And
that's report anyone's channel and their Patreons without
sure,
hardcore
I'm against
facts.
that. I'm against it
completely. I get into people. I get into the bad guys' faces. I go straight to their face. I get right into their fucking houses. I go right up to them. I don't do all this fucking bullshit here. I go right up to their fucking faces. I'm not a fucking pussy. All right?
I've seen clips. I mean, I get that.
I go right up to you in front of the fucking cops, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it.
Just don't catch her on days that end in Y, because chances are you might get doxxed. Yes, you too can be doxxed for the low cost of selling your soul and hanging out in Molly's chat. Don't worry, she does it to her own friends, even at times.
What I have done for that little girl.
I'm the same way.
I'm happy with what I did for fucking Gabby. I'm proud of it, and I'm gonna keep on fucking going. Rain,
I can understand
snow, I don't give a flying fuck. But this is what
I can respect that.
And you want to know something? I'm providing, whether you like it or not. If I'm not out in the field fighting for what I believe in, I'm over here with a whole bunch of women making them laugh. and making them good about themselves. And
that's what I like from you, Molly. I like that.
Of me, and I'm very charitable, and I'm a great fucking friend. And
all right, y'all, I do have one request. Because every time Molly goes on these tirades like this of her rants about how great she is and how unintimidated she is by everybody, and basically she's not a pushover, and you know, all of the things of how everybody else should be intimidated. Anyways, all I picture is Molly on a bobblehead. I need a Molly bobblehead. Molly, great invention. Do a bobblehead, because that's the only thing I see when you talk is your head bobbing back and forth. So I really need a Molly bobblehead. I would support that endeavor if you would do it. Can we get some Molly bobbleheads? Can we call them Molly Go Boom Booms or something like that? Can we do something of that? Make you some more money, since obviously you're not making enough, you know?
People are envious of that.
I could see that. I could. Well, everywhere Katie's around, it puts that aura out, right?
No, so Katie's a fucking piece of shit. And I can't.
Uni, if you get to this point in this video and your girlfriend's sitting there, can you have her give you a titty twister for me? Because you deserve one after this. I'm sorry, dude, but
wait to meet her in person.
Well, you know, like when she was in my channel, I'm sure that you guys thought like I probably.
The other day.
I swear if she did, then I will make sure it doesn't. But I swear all I did was unblock her.
I think some of the clips or some of the stuff like just
older probably. Yeah, she did the older clips. Yeah.
He's saying no, she didn't have one. That's probably old videos, and Molly's still sticking to it. Goose even says it could have been an old video, but Molly's still saying she had a wrench. She had a wrench, and guess what? All the Mollyers are saying she had a wrench.
One thing that some people do, which I think is unfortunate, is they like when they take a clip, they don't say, "Oh, hey, this was from this date," or they don't check the date on the video. Because I've had people send me stuff a couple times, and then I went back and I was like, "Wait, what's this video from? Like, I don't see how this could be connected to this video or whatever." And the next thing I know, the video is like a month old or something, and I'm like, "That's." You know,
yeah, she did a long time. Like I think it was like 2020, maybe she did have one, but I took it away when she got Creep Show. So she did.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because it wasn't what started this in the get-go. Anything to do with refunds starting. That was started before Katie. We've proven that umpteen million times by this point. It is just not factual.
She docs Creep Show. Like, who docs a creator? Like, it's so messed up. Well, get a hold of me, okay? I swear, I'm not leaving because it's not that I don't want to talk to you. I have to pee, and I don't want to just get up and walk away while I'm talking to you. So hopefully we can talk soon. Please have me back. I'd love to talk to you more. So thank you.
Thank you for coming.
All.
I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
But what's even worse than that is she has been doxing regular people who just donated out of the goodness of their heart. That's the people she's been going after and doxing, or people with differing opinions of hers. She has no problem doxing anybody whatsoever. She will dox whoever she finds necessary at whatever point in time. We've all seen it. We've all heard it. It's not shocking. Yet other people would never get away with this. So I don't know how it's so acceptable or not frowned upon when it's her. Who doxes a creator? The lady you're having a discussion with that you just said, get a hold of me sometime. I'd love to have another conversation. That woman has been doxing people. You know, the one that's trying to actively pay people for my information on me to try and somehow connect me to Katie, which again, there's not, but whatever. That is what they're doing. That woman that you just talked to has been doxing creators.
Woo! Okay, let me talk to Navy. Did Navy leave? Did Navy run on me? No,
I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. I'm here.
Okay. I need to talk to my
chat. I watch
his
chat. The chat has gone nuts.
I love it.
All right. I can see why so many of you were upset with Uni over this. I don't know what you would even call it, an interview, what it was supposed to be. I thought it was supposed to be a question and answer session. That's what he was invited for. Yet we all see that that didn't happen. The entire thing was supposed to be a conversation about refunds and Letitia, and that was discussed for maybe 2 minutes. And then a lot of shade was thrown. And I understand why you guys were so frustrated after watching this. I was like, what the heck is he doing? Because even him, he is totally discounting and discrediting all of us that have put in so much work by agreeing with this stuff, because it's not factual based. But I guess for me, I don't really care what they say, what they do, any of that stuff, because all we can stand on is the facts and the proof. And that's all we've been providing over here is facts and proof. I know at the end of the day who I sleep next to, who I associate with, who I'm connected with, anything like that. I'm not connected in that way with creators. Of course, I have friends and other people. It's just not as games. And the longer they continue to pass this off, the messier it gets. The more people get drug in. I don't think Uni had bad intentions. going into it, I think he was unprepared. And he also was saving face. He was saving face a lot, and I don't really know why, except for, yeah, I don't know why. I'm not even gonna try to figure it out, to be honest. I really have no idea, except this is kind of how they are. And what's really sad about this is I know people have been sending him so much information and proof to back up this information and facts about the story. So did he have it there? Yes, maybe not handy, probably not. But it is what it is. They didn't intend showing proof in this live. You can see that right at the beginning. This live was over before it began. They had no intentions on entertaining any of this. They wanted to get Uni in this spot and get him to talk shit about Katie. They could further discredit Katie. That's all they wanted, and they accomplished that. And in essence, by discrediting Katie, what they're attempting to do is discredit my channel, because that's why they're linking Nonsense and Katie together. That's why they keep trying to pass that off, that we're one and the same or working together. Never. I've never collected a dime for any of this. I've never worked with anybody on this. Not at all. It's not how it seems. And I'm assuming Uni isn't working with Katie either. I think a lot of people are independently working on this and coming to the same conclusions. I think he went into this conversation with good intentions. He was trying to get to the bottom of something, but he was derailed 2 minutes into this conversation. It was over. And unfortunately, he did that. And maybe it's just because of anxiety or nervousness or not being prepared for the conversation or what questions you need to ask to get answers. But let's be honest, they never intended on doing that anyways. So it's almost like this was just another distraction in the entire thing. And it has become one, unfortunately. We are here discussing it. I don't really see this as him flipping sides or flip-flopping or anything like that, because I don't really think there is sides in this. There's the truth and there's not. And that's all there is. At this point, there's the truth and there's not. And us over here are focused on the truth. And that's it. That's all we care about. So tell me what you all think. I've heard a lot of your thoughts already on this, but I'm interested to hear what you think. And I'm sorry I didn't go ham on him. I also think there's some other things there, but we won't talk about that either. So anyways, what do you guys think about this? I've heard it before, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. And again, sorry I edited some parts out. There's just things that I will not entertain. So with that, Contessa, over and out. And just to be clear, Contessa has absolutely no hard feelings towards you or anyone else. This isn't about the creators. And unfortunately, that conversation went south before it even started. It was a complete and utter disaster that they intentionally set up. You can't convince me of anything else. Something definitely smells foul. But unlike Molly claiming that it's Uni in the basement, it is not Uni that smells. It's all the foul shit on their side that smells, and the continual lies. Uni ain't the problem here. Katie ain't the problem here. It's the lies and the continuing of these lies. All right, officially, Contessa, over and out. Oh, wait, I actually gave you guys a little bit more time to chat at the end of this, so it doesn't end abruptly while you guys are still trying to chat. And thank you guys for watching another one of my videos. If you wouldn't mind, please hit that thumbs up on your way out. It greatly helps me get the videos out to more people. And it's working. There are new eyes on this, and people are starting to become more and more aware. So thank you so much. I couldn't do this without all of you. I appreciate you all so much.